News broke today, almost in real time, that Donald Trump and Ben Carson were not happy with CNBC's proposed regulations to their debate. Now, that's the next Republican debate coming up, and both Ben Carson and Donald Trump, who were leading in polls, said, you want it to be 3 hours long, that's too long. If it's more than 2 hours, we're not going to come. They wanted to cut, CNBC did, the opening and closing statements, the scripted portion of the debate that they deliver. And they said, no, if you cut those, we're not going to come. And a number of other candidates weighed in, but that's not really that important. I think that CNBC was mostly interested in Trump and, to a lesser extent, Ben Carson. And it didn't take less than a day, actually. CNBC caved. And so now the debate is not going to be longer than 2 hours, and they're going to have their opening and closing statements. Now, look, as I talked about on the Young Turks with Anna Kasparian and Margaret Howell of The Lip today, we can debate whether it should be 2 hours or 3 hours and whether you should have the opening and closing statements. But that's not what Donald Trump and Ben Carson did. They didn't persuade CNBC to change their policy through saying, well, you know, the American attention span is this long, and so you'll get a big drop-off if you make it too long. And studies have shown that people really like opening statements. They didn't persuade them. They threatened to boycott, and CNBC bowed down to them. They lifted up their paw. Please don't do that, sir. And that is extremely frustrating because the media all too often bows down and surrenders to those they consider to be politically powerful in terms of their draw. If it's someone like Lincoln Chafee or whatever, they'll bully them all day long. But if it's somebody who's popular, who's doing well in the polls that they want to get on their show, then they bow down. But they didn't have to do that. CNBC was genuinely afraid that Ben Carson and Donald Trump wouldn't go to their debate. Afraid that if that were to happen, people wouldn't watch it then. But bowing down is not the only solution to that. Weakness, cowardice is not the only solution to that. Here's a different solution. Strength. Here's what you do. In the weeks leading up to the debate, and you've got a couple weeks left, on CNBC and on NBC, here's the message you put out. The American people want to find out who amongst the 79 different Republicans running for the presidency should get their vote. They want to know what these people are actually about. And we've gathered as many candidates as we can, to get on that stage and debate. But you're going to notice when the debate starts that two people didn't show up. Ben Carson and Donald Trump, two very popular candidates, were so scared of having to stand and defend themselves for 3 hours, who were so scared at having to give unscripted remarks, not prepared carefully by their high-priced advisors, that they didn't want to come and defend their reputations. They knew that millions of you would tune in to learn something about this election, and they didn't give a fuck about what you learned. They said, no, if I don't get my way, I'm going to stamp my feet and I'm going to leave the room. So we've organized the responsible candidates, but the babies have fled. Maybe you can watch them tweet during the debate or something like that. And then when you actually run the debate, you put up two podiums and you mark them Carson and you mark them Trump. And every time you would have asked them a question, you ask that podium. You say, here's an important question about the economy. Economy not doing too good. People want to know what you're going to do about it, or about ISIS, or about whatever. And then you wait 3 seconds, you think, and you say, oh wait, that's it. You didn't want to actually have to give any details about what you would actually do if you became president. You either didn't have the information or didn't trust yourself to deliver it in a way that would be convincing to the audience. And you pointed out every 5 minutes that they're not there, and then you go to another candidate. And then you thank that candidate for being willing to go in front of the American public and defend what it is that they supposedly believe in. And you bully the shit out of Ben Carson, you bully the shit out of Donald Trump, and you make them look like the cowards and the fools that they are. And all of the rest of the candidates are going to look good by comparison because they were willing to actually make a stand in front of the American people for what they believe in and what they would do as president. They don't bully you, CNBC, you bully them. This is their opportunity to get their message out. This is their free multi-hours of advertisement for them. And you remind them of that. The next time they talk about boycotting you, you tell them what price they'll pay if they do that. And you see if they try to boycott you the next time around. But I don't run CNBC. I guess it's easy to get scared when there's money on the line. This is just my idea how I would have handled it.